The NFL is completely rigged. It is completely scripted. There's only one matchup they want to put in the Super Bowl. That one matchup is going to involve the MVP winning quarterback, Lamar Jackson, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, Jalen Hurts, your all star running back, Saquon Barkley, the best running back in football, King Henry, the second best running back in football. They're just running all over the place. Offense is glittered all over the place. It's sprinkling with fireworks through the ground, through the air, especially through the ground, especially up the middle, especially on the outside. This is the matchup the NFL would benefit the most from this season in a year where the Bills are going to choke again without the Kansas City Chiefs, without Travis Kelsey, without Patrick Mahomes, without the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the one matchup they must have to advance and maximize the profit. But it ain't just about maximizing the profit, but as far as storylines goes, this is the matchup that generates the most hype. Now the Packers and Ravens, yeah, but Jordan Love is good. He against Lamar Jackson and Brandon Jacobs. He's good, but he's no Saquon Barkley. It is a bird matchup. It ain't a cat tiger matchup. It's an all bird matchup. MVP quarterback King Henry, that beast, Saquon Barkley, putting the very best running backs in the Super Bowl against each other, putting two of the most dynamic pass and run quarterbacks against each other in the Super Bowl. And the storyline factor doesn't stop there with the running backs in the quarterbacks, the wide receiver there. AJ Brown, he knows Derrick Henry from their time with the Tennessee Titans, and that could be the little twist there for this Ravens Eagles matchup in the Super Bowl. It ain't about just the fact that Jared Goff is from the Bay Area. That could be the psychological operation. Psychological operation last year was that Joe Burrow was going to make it to the same stadium where he won the national championship, where they played at LSU, but it didn't turn out that way. So that's what's going against Jared Goff. This is what's going against Detroit Lions. The Super Bowl is over because they dealing with post traumatic stress from having to go to the same stadium where they choked in the NFC Championship game. It is post traumatic stress for the Lions to be involved in that same stadium where they choked away the Super Bowl appearance. So the Lions, that they, in my mind, they cannot make it. There are other 39s that exist. There are other 24s that exist outside of them. Basically, the ones that exist, Saquon equals 24. That Joe Montana won Super Bowl 24. Okay, Saquon equals 24. The Eagles can fall to 2-4 in the Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley. They can do so against the Ravens. Derrick Henry, number 22. The Ravens' 22nd playoff win in their team. History can happen against the Eagles at Levi's. That's what Derrick Henry's number represents. They're going to give the guy 25 plus carries. They didn't do so at Buffalo. They didn't do so against Kansas City. They're going to pay them back for what happened when they told them to tank the AFC Championship game because we want to take advantage, exploit, profit off of the Taylor Swift publicity. These young girls watching Taylor Swift and her boyfriend in the Super Bowl. The Ravens had to take a back seat so we can have all these Swifties watching these back-to-back Super Bowls. The one team that was told to go to the side, you're on standby. You cannot go on that flight. That team is the Baltimore Ravens. But now the birds are ready to fly and they ready to go to the Super Bowl. This isn't just the Ravens, it's also the Eagles. Both bird teams are ready to make it to the Super Bowl. Tampa is going to win against the Eagles in week 4. This is the first time I'll predict the Eagles to lose a game. The caveat is that suddenly people be hyping up Baker Mayfield and they be paying too much attention to his fourth quarter comebacks against the Falcons, against the Jets, against the Texans. And it'll probably be a fourth quarter comeback when Baker Mayfield defeats the Philadelphia Eagles. But this is all by design because the Bucs would also not have lost a game. And people be hyping up Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC. But there's only one matchup in mind that the NFL likes. Sure, Baker Mayfield is great, but Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley in the same Super Bowl? I'm tuning into that one. 2 Super Bowl winning coaches in the same Super Bowl. I'm tuning to that one. There's nothing wrong with the Bucs. It's just the fact that the Ravens-Eagles matchup has more compelling storylines. It reminds us of Eagles-Chiefs, where Andy Reid's former team, the 2 Kelsey brothers. This one, it's got all the all-pros on both sides of the ball, especially the quarterback and running back position. The best 2 running backs in football, and Jalen Hurts, a top 5 quarterback, and Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate, 2 Super Bowl winning coaches. That has to be the matchup that's going to be in this year's Super Bowl. That has to be the matchup. Without the Kansas City Chiefs, without the allure of the Swifties, it's got to be the defending champion about this dynasty talk. People be, I'm tired of the Eagles in the Super Bowl now. People may be sick and tired of Philadelphia winning the NFC all the time, but you see, Philadelphia's got to replace the Kansas City Chiefs from that regard. Buffalo Bills, they're the darlings everyone be rooting for. I want Buffalo. This guy lost to Kansas City 4 times. He's not there in the playoffs. Buffalo's going to be that. Lamar Jackson can't win at Buffalo, but that's exactly where it all goes wrong. He can't win at Buffalo. He can't win at Patrick Mahomes never won a playoff game on the road. Without Arrowhead, he can't do it. But the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl despite playing 2 games on the road. Lamar Jackson, he can't win at Buffalo. He's going to win at Buffalo. He's going to dispel the notion. Josh Allen is the MVP. People be paying too much attention to the MVP, but that's where it goes south. He's number 7. He's the 17th. He is the number 7 overall draft pick. He must make it to the Super Bowl in his 17th playoff game. So this is where it all goes wrong for him. When the Bills are the number 1 seed, Josh Allen can't win the Super Bowl in his 16th playoff game. He's got to make it to that Super Bowl in his 17th playoff game. He's got to choke against everybody before he wins the Super Bowl. He's yet to lose in the playoffs against Lamar. That's the one guy he has to lose against. He lost against Burrow. He lost against Patrick Mahomes. That's the one guy he has to lose against. Lamar's number 8 previous playoff games. This is the time right there. Joe Flacco, winning quarterback. Joe is 12th playoff game. They win the Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. Jackson wins the Super Bowl in his 7th playoff win. Philadelphia with the 7 churches in Revelation. And then the number 7 overall pick, Josh Allen, wins against Baker next year. Josh Allen's going to beat Baker in the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Baker's that one guy who was originally the Cleveland Browns quarterback, leaves Cleveland and does make it to the Super Bowl. But for Baker Mayfield, that is going to be next year. You'll just have to wait another season before he is playing in the Super Bowl. Baker in the Bucs, they're trying to sell you the comeback king quarterback, Baker Mayfield. They want him to beat Philly because this puts the Bucs over the line as the team that people believe the NFL is rigging the Super Bowl for. This is why Baker Mayfield has all these comebacks. He's going to win MVP. He's going to being a top front runner to win the NFC, to make it to the Super Bowl, and then suddenly the Philadelphia Eagles, or they lost by 10 or whatever, they lost to Baker, they lose against Baker in the playoffs. This was about to go down right here. This is the matchup right there. Joe Burrow is the new Andrew Luck, saddled with injuries in a dysfunctional team. This is who Joe Burrow is. He's the best quarterback in football, but he's on a bad organization. This is the problem. This was the problem with Andrew Luck. This was the problem with Joe Burrow. They the two best quarterbacks, but they on bad teams. NFL deemed them they were not going to win in the bad situations. They have deemed Lamar worthy of winning the Super Bowl after all these MVPs. He can't win the postseason, and suddenly Lamar wins the Super Bowl. He's not a running back. He can do a little extra to win the Super Bowl, both on the ground and through the air. See, just when Lamar chokes, they want you to believe he's never going to win. And this when Lamar proves the doubt is wrong right there. Is he is able to win the Super Bowl. He made it to the AFC Championship game. Lamar Jackson won how many MVPs? 3, 2. Now it's the next level. Tom Brady. He has said that the quarterback he enjoys watching the most is Lamar Jackson. Tom Brady, he must have said, you next to win your first Super Bowl title. Did Tom Brady really think Lamar was going to win first over Jalen Hurts to win your first Super Bowl title? Close enough. You the next one to win. Matter of timing differences, Jalen was actually next to win his first Super Bowl. But the slightest of timing differences, Tom Brady still had the right idea that Tom Brady is picking Lamar Jackson to be the next quarterback to win the Super Bowl just after the Philadelphia Eagles. Nothing. This team isn't going to win any Super Bowl. They're going to lose games. They'll find a way to choke in the playoffs because they don't want any home teams making it to the Super Bowl. That's the bottom line. They already have too many injuries. It's going to be too much. It's the same story as last year. Too many injuries for that team. Nick Bosa left the game. Mac Jones is hurt. And who knows if Brock Purdy is even going to be 100% the rest of the season. That team is fully cooked. I'm sure the Rams will beat them next Thursday. I'm sure they will. They wait until next Thursday. They'll probably beat the Jaguars. That's what they play next week, right? The Jaguars. Get some money on the 49ers, have them undefeated, have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers undefeated. Let's all sleep on the Eagles. They're boring. They got lucky against the Eagles. They played bad against the Cowboys. They could have lost against the Chiefs. Let's all just write off the Eagles. Let's all just write off the Eagles. What can go wrong will go wrong. Just write off the Eagle, say the NFL script writers. When they lose to the Bucs, it's too hard to defend the title. It's too hard. It's too hard. But they making Nick Sirianni out to be the next Vince Lombardi by making it to another Super Bowl. Another good angle too. What are they? Why can't Patrick Mahomes score touchdowns? Why can't he just still put up big numbers, but with the mediocre? Oh, you see, I haven't been paying attention to the third quarter. The Chiefs scored, okay. Let's see if there's some spread gimmicks or whatever. If the Giants score a touchdown or whatever. Doesn't look like Jackson-Darrett's going to play except an injury. But that was a fishy call in the first quarter to not kick the field goal and put points on the board and strike first. They will lose against Lamar Jackson. His name is Jalen Hurts. Because it hurts to lose 2 Super Bowls. His name is Jalen Hurts because his career ends in more heartbreak than it does with more victories. His name is Hurts for a reason. You thought you the dynasty, but you lost the Super Bowl to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. You thought you had the Eagles beat and they beat you in the Super Bowl. You thought you were the dynasty. That's what Jalen Hurts is about. It's about losing more Super Bowls than you won. This is what it's about right there. He could be the next John Elway. Have a losing record in the Super Bowl. Be 1-2 in the Super Bowl. Eagles are overhyped against Lamar and the Ravens. That's one team they will not beat is Lamar and the Ravens. The 2 best teams, the 49ers Ravens, met on Christmas at the Bay Area. Lamar won. He wins the Super Bowl at that same stadium. That Levi's game against Ford Dirty, the 5 interceptions when they destroyed the 41ers on Christmas. Lamar won MVP that game at the same site as Super Bowl 60. He's going to do it again. There's no other better matchup you could think of than that matchup right there. It is as box office as it can be. King Henry and Saquon and Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson and 2 Super Bowl winning coaches. This is the matchup they want right there. Without the allure of the Swifties in the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon and Patrick Mahomes. Without a Joe Burrow. They will save the scripted Josh Allen, the pick used to draft him was from the Bucs angle for next year. The Lions are losers. They say this team's a bunch of losers. At least this team made it to the Super Bowl. At least they made it to the Super Bowl. When have the Lions ever made it to the Super Bowl? My team made it to the Super Bowl. I've seen my team in the Super Bowl. There are more losing teams than the Cardinals. It's called going 0-16. We're looking at the Cleveland Clowns and the Detroit Lions. Those 2 teams. Those are the 2 worst teams in NFL history right there. The Cleveland Clowns and the Detroit Lions. Those are 2 bigger loser teams. That is a humiliation ritual for the Giants right there. They put the Colts in the playoffs. If they win the division, which they may win the division, them or Jacksonville, probably them or Jacksonville. Texans will win next week, either them or Jacksonville. Is there any more plans to move the team to London, the Jaguars? As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. But Danny Dimes leading the Colts into the playoffs. White supremacist angle, Trump maggot angle. Can't have too much black dominance from the quarterback position. We can't have Lamar beat the white man in the Super Bowl. We can't have Lamar beat Mahomes in the playoffs. We can't have Lamar beat injured Joe Burrow in the playoffs. The white supremacist. This is a subliminal race ritual from the same old white cracker-ass right-wing owners. They don't want Lamar beating Burrow. They don't want Lamar beating Mahomes in the playoffs. They don't want Lamar beating any of these guys except for Josh Allen. They don't want him beating every great white quarterback in the AFC. I don't know who the Chargers are playing in the playoffs yet, but they'd be in the divisional round. Could they script the brother matchup? They'll do it a couple of times, won't they? If not once, the year that Jim Harbaugh defeats the Ravens, he defeats his brother and wins the Super Bowl, they could script another year where Jim Harbaugh goes up against his brother. What if both times John Harbaugh wins the Super Bowl, he beats his brother Jim? That could happen. Doesn't Herbert equal 76? It's Allen that is 7-6 in the postseason. So who knows? He could go up against the Chargers, enter the game with a 7-6 record, and Herbert is 76, and Josh Allen is 7-6 in the playoffs. Who knows? I don't know about Detroit, but they are going to win the football game. Yeah, if the Lions commit turnovers, they're going to get. They if they don't turn it over, then they'll keep it close. But if they do turn it over, then hard to see the Ravens not executing. But the Ravens are scripted actors. They scripted the comeback for the Bills. So are the Ravens going to script some exciting close action in the fourth quarter? Who knows? Is the idea to have Lamar win the games on his shoulders? That could happen. But it's clear that the Kansas City Chiefs are not going away. I think the NFL is mafia. What do I mean? I mean that Lamar's a running back. He can't beat Mahomes. He can't beat Josh Allen. That is what I mean. He can't beat the Bills. He can't beat the Chiefs. How's he going to win in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson? I think this is what they could be setting up, honestly. Start the year 2-2. Levi's is 22. Eagles is 22. I mean, the one game that everyone's going to lose, everyone in their mother is going to bet on the Ravens. And their dead grandmother going to bet on the Ravens to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And then that's just going to be a rigged football game if we are, to be honest. It is going to be a rigged. A game featuring the Ravens and the Chiefs could be the most bet on game by everybody put together. That's what's going to make that game corrupted. There's going to be too much money on the Ravens for them to win against the Chiefs. That's just my opinion right there. Everyone be hyping up Kansas City, this and that. But I think it comes down to the fact that there's too much money on the Ravens to win. Too many Swift haters, Chief haters, too many of them haters be betting, hoping the Chiefs are out of the playoffs and never to be heard from again. What needs a good script is that we keep the Chiefs in there and we keep things very, very interesting. So that's why the Ravens are going to win a rigged, or they're going to lose a rigged football game next week. Are they going to? Who's the Ravens' Week 5 opponent? If you ask me, I'm not going to bet on that Raven Chiefs game. There's just too much room for corruption. They were whining about the call in Arrowhead December 2 years ago. They were whining and crying about the calls when the Bengals were against the Chiefs last year. The big matchups with the big quarterbacks in there, with the games that have more bet money on them, those are the games I could corrupt it. Yeah, if the Chiefs are at home, this game is going to be corrupted. Remember, everyone bet on the Ravens week 1 last season. But what happened? Oh, Swifties won, right? I told you the Chiefs would win that game in week 1 last year. It's just the Giants, sir. Hold on a sec. Yeah, Chiefs could be 2-2, and then Jaguars is 23. Could they be going for 2-3, something like that? Yeah, that is just my 10 cents. I do hope the Ravens win. There is a narrative for the Ravens to win against Kansas City because Houston is 31. They can start the year 4-1. They could go for 5-1 against the Rams. So I wonder, are they really going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I hope the Ravens do. I believe they can. It just may the Ravens, they can enter that Rams game They could beat the Rams to be 5-1, and Rams is 51. They could enter the Texans game 3-1. They could be 4-1 like Baltimore, Bay Area. So we will see. We will see. They already have lost the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Bills. So do they need the Ravens to beat Kansas City? LA's 13. Kansas City started the year against LA. They could start the year 1-3, beat Jaguars 2-3, go for 2-4 or something, but maybe win 4 straight and beat the Raiders. But the Commanders and the Bills coming up, the Chiefs can't be losing too much. Broncos and Colts before Dallas. Could they start 1-3 and just run the table, really? Logically speaking, if the Chiefs lose, and people are going to bet more and more money on the Chiefs to lose football games in the coming weeks. Lots of gray matter in that game. There's just too much room for corruption, basically. Never underestimate the power of corruption. I see the numbers either way, but the corruption, too much money, I don't know if I can bet on that game. But yeah, the playoffs are rigged. If the Ravens lose against the Chiefs, that are there, people going to really believe in them to go 3-0 to win the AFC? I don't think so. If the Ravens get Daniel Jones in the playoffs, the Ravens, the other team to play games at Baltimore was the Colts. They beat a rookie Andrew Luck en route to winning the Super Bowl in 2013. So could we see Daniel Jones against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? I think the biggest factor definitely is in play for this particular scenario. If the Bucs beat the Eagles, and let's say the Ravens lose against the Chiefs, what the hell happened to Clemson, really? They were supposed to be good. Looks like it's Miami or FSU for the ACC this year, it looks like. What the hell? What was going on with Atlanta? That is pure jack-off. 30-0 to the Panthers. We got to make the scripted almost near comeback believable. Carolina 27-3, 27-22. Let's have the Panthers win big at Atlanta, so let's make that comeback more believable. You funny script writers. Funny how you do that. The Cowboys are a joke. They are really turning into the Al Davis Raiders of the mid-late 2000s. I was telling you that was going to be the case. They are turning into the Al Davis Raiders of the early, mid to late 2000s. Jerry is clearly senile. He is deluded. Al Davis was desperate for a Super Bowl championship. Like, he was manic. Jerry, it just may be about the money, but he is clearly delusional. He's lost all sense of reality. Al Davis was the general manager. He had no real football guy. Jerry Jones is the general manager. He has no real football guy to control the operation. He cannot be controlled by his son. He's a narcissist. A narcissist would love himself more than his kid, as much as they may love their kids. They, above all, they love themselves. So Jerry Jones is a narcissist. He will always control the operation as long as he's living. He'll be like, fuck it, until I die, until I can no longer move, then I control the operation. And basically, a narcissist cannot admit they have any faults, any flaws whatsoever. So the Dallas Cowboys are definitely cooked. And I just heard today that CeeDee Lamb is injured. Cowboys are a lock to go 1-3. New York Jets is 13, by the way. That's your big connection right there. The Packers, after a loss like this, oh my God, man. This is the wrong time to catch the Green Bay Packers. They'll be extra laser focused for that game right there. And this could be another home game for the Packers. It looks like it's all going to be decked with Packer fans over there. Imagine if the Cowboys lose against the Panthers. Holy moly. But on Monday Night Football, hopefully they do lose against the Cards. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they lose against the Raiders. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they lose every game on prime time. Hopefully every single game. They're the Cowboys. They're now America's punching bag. They'll still be on national TV even if they're 2-13 because we all love seeing the Cowboys lose. They'll still be on national TV because it is the Dallas Cowboys. Because them bandwagon fans around the country, they're going to be tuning into that game. You love, I hate the Cowboys. He's a laughing stock, Jerry Jones. It doesn't matter. They're not going to lose the Monday night, the Sunday night games. They're still going to have them even when they're terrible and they're mediocre. With that, I only win games against under 500 teams. Dak Prescott because he doesn't beat good teams at all. Cowboys are soft. They got punched in the mouth by the Ravens last year, right? They got destroyed by the Bills a couple of years ago. This team is soft. So I think Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys for sure on Thanksgiving. And I can't remember how they did against Washington last year, but clearly the Dallas Cowboys are finished for good. They could lose double-digit games this year. It's possible. And two guys hurt on the same play. Like two Cardinals guys are going for a ball in the end zone at Carolina, collide with each other. They both got injured. And this isn't even Thursday night. Guys get hurt like this. Cardinals running back out for the year, I bet. He was carted off. Everybody was midfield. This is terrible. So if Ravens win, I'll take 10-6. I think I went with too many underdogs this week. The Packer game came out of nowhere. I think against the Falcons, Commanders can afford to rest Jaden Daniels. San Francisco did. They beat a Cardinal team that only beat the Panthers and the Saints. Kind of sucks. The Commanders, they lost 30-0 to Carolina, and they have Marcus Mariota. I think they can easily rest Jaden Daniels another week. This is probably why the line is low. Panthers and the Patriots. Patriots look good. I mean, how is this young quarterback going to do on the road? I may have. They just won a game 30-0, right? This now takes them the positive point differential. I don't know. If you just look at Dolphins, Panthers, it's like one team has no wins, probably. I think the Jets are building momentum. I think the Jets can probably do something, get that head coach's first win on Monday Night Football. It's probably the Jets are going to beat the Dolphins, to be honest. This team is going to check out their coach. The inmates run the asylum. This guy lets guys skip meetings. He probably doesn't care. He's just waiting to collect the check and head back home. Mike McDaniel. That's basically what Miami is at this point. I would probably say the New York Jets. Vikings are another team that won big. Bengals had no offense, literally. Vikings could be 2-2 like Joe Flacco. Aaron is 22. One team's gonna be 2-2. So is it Pitt? Is it the Vikings? I think the Bengals are gonna be crap. So I think the Steelers have to win. I think because they gotta keep pace with the Ravens. So I gotta go Pittsburgh to win the London game. Next opponent sequence for the Steelers, the Clowns and the Bungles. Browns did beat Green Bay. I get it. I get it. I get it. They could be 4-2. If Aaron Rodgers beats the Packers, he'll be 5-2 before Indy. Indy's 52. I think the Vikings just had a free day on defense against a team without a quarterback. Steelers should win, but Mike Tomlin, a Vikings defensive coordinator before he became coach of the Steelers, you never know when he does get his team ready to play and when he doesn't get his team ready to play. But clearly with the Bengals crashing and burning, the Steelers got to win. That Steelers-Ravens, that Rodgers against Lamar Jackson. You got to keep that division interesting if the AFC East is no longer going to be interesting. So with that being said, Steelers are going to beat the Vikings. Yeah, Bills are the lock of the week, clearly. It's more of Atlanta is inept and they a joke. Patriots should beat Carolina, be honest. They should. When will Fraud 30 come back? 2-0 without Fraud 30 is part of the system, obviously. They're winning with Mac Jones. They don't really have real quarterbacks there in San Francisco. They have system projects is what they have. They have system prospects. They're not real quarterbacks. You can take them out and you can win without them. And that's what this team is. It's all the brains of Kyle Shanahan. They're a home Super Bowl team. You know about the home Super Bowl, Jake. So that team is always a trap. They have more injuries. Nick Bosa's injured. I think the losing is going to start to happen against the Rams and the Bucks. Those are two games they will lose. This is not a Super Bowl team. This is a pretender team. This is a hook and bait team. This is a fool's gold team. Every single year, I keep telling people, this team's not going to win. This team's not going to win. Every single year, just like the Buffalo Bills, they prove me right. The Bills are not winning the Super Bowl. Not this year. Not this year. Not this year. Not this year with Buffalo. We getting closer to finally going and riding the Buffalo Mafia, the Bills Mafia hype train, but we not quite there just yet. That's my guy Cam Scatterbo. Some hard runs on national TV, baby. That's the kid. They got the hard-nosed running back ASU right there. Pull the guard over. He's got room, Scatterbo. Keeping it running to that freight train right there. And Jackson-Dark's in the game. Perfect time. National TV, Jackson-Dart in the game. Is he going to start against the LA Chargers? Chargers defense going to murder that kid. Not all the favorites will win. Not every big spread will be covered. Jets will be an upset. The Colts is 30. Their first loss happens against the Rams. The Rams are going to beat the Colts. Cardinals beat the Seahawks. They're 3-1. Rams win. They're 3-1. The Seahawks are the joke in the division. Commanders have to win, so they are tied with the Eagles. That's what that game is about right there. Bears and Raiders. Tom Brady has the inside scoop, right? So now he knows exactly how to beat the Chicago Bears, right? Tom Brady's going to run the entire game plan, and Tom Brady's going to win the game for the Raiders, right? Tom Brady's going to go full big dick, put the team on the shoulders, find a way to stay in playoff contention. With the Colts and the Titans next, you'll win 1 out of 2 against these teams. This is a game that the Raiders are going to win, and the Bears, they only played the Cowboys. That's the problem. They only played the Dallas Cowboys. They only beat the New York Giants. You only beat the Giants. Did Pete Carroll really come to the Raiders to be 1-3? Chiefs suck. They scored 16, only 16 against the New York Giants. You're not going to beat Lamar and the Ravens. I will not bet on that game next week. I believe the refs are going to win the game for the Chiefs. I will stay far away from that game. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. Buyer beware. I think Baker's still going to cook. Let it cook, Baker. This all I have to say. The Bucs are going to beat the Eagles. $25 points in the game. Giants is 25. What was the spread? 6 points. Okay, Chiefs are still up 7. Chiefs are covering. 25 points. The game. Giants is 25. Also, Ravens is 25. If the game ends at 25, the Chiefs pick up a couple first downs, wind down some clock, punt the ball, get the defensive stop, run out the clock, use up the timeout game. The game could end with 25 points. If they kick a late field goal with 19, then basically Lamar equals 19. Lamar equals 19. We'll see how we'll see how this game concludes. We'll see. But yeah, this is just what I think. What the picks of the divisions. Ignore the NFC South. Ignore the AFC East. Imagine if everybody is 1-3 and one team is 0-4 and the Bills are 4-0. The Bills play the Patriots next Sunday. Drake May has made some big plays. But since this 1-3 team against the Bills, oh boy!
Hey, look, that team is 2-2 and they're in the playoff field. It's a divisional game. Oh, I'm going to watch that game. New England has to win next week. New England, it is over Carolina. This is all I got for week 4. A little bit too underdog trigger, but Ravens win 10-6 is not the worst week in the world. It's better than being 8-8 or something like that, you know? Little surprised they underestimated the Commanders with the backup quarterback. Jaguars was a great pick right there. Too gun happy on the Colts and the Bengals, quite frankly. And the Bears was a great pick over the Cowboys. And the Chargers in the divisional game, 50-50, based off the odds, great pick right there. Chiefs to win, no surprises. There we go. The Cardinals are beating the Seahawks. Sam Darnold equals 38. Kyler improves to 3-8 against Seattle. They could lose the second game at Seattle. You improved to 3-8 against Seattle, but the Seahawks equals 39. So I think Kyler loses the game at Seattle. I think. Seattle's record. Seattle's next opponent. They could be 2-3 before the Jaguars. Jaguars is 23. Seahawks could be 2-4. Fall to 2-2, fall to 2-3, lose against the Bucs. They're 2-3 entering the Jaguars game. By conclusion, Baker's cooking it. And home game on a Thursday, you have to get on a flight. And you only beat the Saints. And you only won because the Steelers didn't know how to pick up their own kickoff return. They touched the ball, and they gave the Seahawks a gift touchdown. So quite underwhelming schedule for the Seahawks. Underwhelming comebacks by the Saints and the Panthers against the Cardinals. But there's one team the NFL would like to put on the map. It's Trey McBride. It's the Cardinals. Unfortunately, James Conner's out for the year. Marvin Harrison got to make some touchdowns on Thursday night. Terrible game. Marvin Harrison got to put this kid on that. People didn't see the drop passes by Marvin Harrison. 8% of the country didn't. Well, they only tuned into the final 3 plays of the game when the 49ers were driving down for victory. So nobody really saw their game against San Francisco. So no one knew about Marvin Harrison's stuff. They weren't on national TV. Nice completion there by Big Daddy Patty. Look at that. Pat is Comanche of 19. Score could be 19-9 potentially. Yep, that is my week 4. I think I intend to put the week 4 picks out. I think tonight, because I think week 4 is very, very clear where we're heading with. There's a question as far as the backup quarterback availability. Is Jaden Daniels going to come back? But I don't think it should matter. I think clearly the NFC East divisional race matters. And I think they need the Pats to win before they play on Sunday night in week 5. So that's going to be important as well. But the Chiefs are probably going to beat the Ravens. And I'm going to open up the poll right now because that is the game of the week next week. And the NFL is rigged. And the betting is rigged. And the NFL is better when the Chiefs are in playoff contention. And so that makes the league overall more exciting if the Chiefs are hanging in the balance. Because you can't forget about the Denver Broncos could be 3-1. If the Broncos are going to be 3-1, they're going to have to win every single game or whatever. The Kansas City Chiefs, you still have the Commanders and the Bills, and you still have the Lions. So just being realistically speaking, the Ravens game is going to be rigged against Lamar Jackson. But even if it is, the house always wins, and they know what they're doing. Las Vegas makes the calls. He can't beat Allen. He can't beat Mahomes. Lamar is a running back. He's a joker, this or that. Nope. He is just doing his part in the script. Stay low. Stay good. Steelers on top of the division. Steelers will be on top of the division. Who knows if Steelers lose to the Vikings and technically the Browns are a game out? Who knows? But they have not had a home win yet. Aaron Rodgers gets the first home win against the Browns for sure, October 12th. What's Aaron Rodgers' record at London? The Jets, he played the Vikings every time. How do you like, it's just wrong to have the Vikings and Packers give up one of those games and you play it overseas. Like, that's just greed right there to give up a divisional game right there. It could be any other game except that one. And then I remember he lost against the Vikings while with the Jets. And now he's up against the Vikings again over there at London. Every time he's played the Vikings, Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings take a 4-0 record overseas against Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh is 50. Rodgers equals 41. I will like that. Oops, that's an article as of 2024. NFL in London Wikipedia. Record in London games is the key for these particular slate of games. The Minnesota Vikings are 4-0. Four and one is Super Bowl. 5-0, going for 5-0 is Pittsburgh. Okay. Vikings coach Carson Wentz. He's the number 11. He's got to be 1-1. Okay, it's Carson Wentz, number 11. We have to pay attention to. He's still number 11, is he? He'll be 1-1 as a starter. He would be going for his 49th win against Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron is gematria of 49, so we'll see. We will see. Pittsburgh Steelers record in the international series. He missed the extra point. Kansas City Chiefs, 22 points, can go for 2-2, beating the Ravens. Pittsburgh Steelers are 0-1 in internationals. They've only played one game in 2013. You figure they would have played more games. Why do the Cowboys only play one game, one international game? They're the most popular team in football, right? America's team. Yeah, Steelers will be 1-1 in international games against the Carson Wentz. Got to go Pittsburgh on that one. All right, this is all I got. Have a good night, and we will see where the scripting takes us uh, for week 4. I'd be very shocked if the Ravens lose tomorrow because I think the plan is they have to be good, have some momentum before playing Kansas City, make that game more interesting, and then the Chiefs win a rigged game against the Ravens, and people doubt Baltimore, and suddenly Kansas City is back in the conversation. So yeah, that game is rigged, and Kansas City's probably going to win it.